So in this Merch by Amazon getting started video, we're going to talk about tiering up and setting goals. So in Merch by Amazon, there are tiers. There are tiers to the level of your account. Each tier allows you to upload more video or more designs onto your account, and it allows you to have a higher amount of designs on your account. So when you first create your account, you're going to be at tier level 10. At tier level 10, it means that you can upload 2 designs and you have a maximum of 10 designs on your account. As you start to sell more designs on your account, your account will naturally just start to automatically tier up to the following tiers. Tier 10 is what you start at. Tier 25, and then from 25 you get to tier 100. And then from tier 100 you get to tier 500, and then from tier 500 they call it tier pro, but it's just a continuation of the same process. So from 500 you go to tier 1000, from 1000 you go to tier 2000, from 2000 you go to tier 4000, from 4000 you go to tier 6000, and so on and so forth. So when you initially create your account, you're going to only be able to list 10 designs. Now this is going to seem like a pretty limiting factor, but you got to keep in mind that Amazon doesn't want a whole bunch of crappy designs listed on their platform, okay? They need to be able to weed out people who are dedicated to the Merch by Amazon platform, and people who are just messing around with it. They can't just give people unlimited access to uploads, because you'll just be flooded with a whole bunch of terrible stuff, and it will just generally bring down Amazon in the process, okay? The image of Amazon in the process, I should say. So they start you with 10. Once you normally the way it works is once you sell the same amount of the products as the tier you're on, you'll get bumped to the next tier, okay? And there's some different things that you need to accomplish within that process, but for the most part, if you sell 10 products and you're on tier 10, you'll get bumped up to tier 25. On tier 25, if you sell 25 products, then you'll get bumped up to tier 100. If you sell 100 products on tier 100, you get bumped up to tier 500. So let me actually bring you to my account real quick. So there's a little bit more nuance within that. So I'm currently at tier 4000, okay? That means that my last tier that I was on tier 2000. If we look at my all-time sales, you can see that I have 2,874 items sold. For me to get bumped up to tier 4000, I needed to sell 2,000 products on my Merch by Amazon account, because I was currently at the 2000 tier. So once I met the 2000 tier, or the 2000 products sold, I technically was eligible to be bumped up to tier 4000, but I had to meet some additional requirements. And this isn't written in stone. This is just kind of from experience. Most people who have been on this platform for a long time kind of agree with the idea of what I'm about to put out here. So before you can get bumped up to the next tier, you do need to sell an equivalent amount of product for that tier. So if you're at tier 10, you need to sell 10 products. Once you meet that requirement, you also need to have a certain amount of designs uploaded. So a good example is you want to be at about 80% upload rate. So if you're at tier 10, to be at an 80% upload rate, you need to have uploaded 8 designs. Once you hit an 80% upload rate and you have sold the appropriate amount of items for that tier, you will typically see that your account will be upgraded to the next tier. This process has happened. It happens almost automatically. If you request an upgrade, in most cases, you will not get an upgrade. So just keep in mind, it will happen automatically. In most cases, it happens during the weekdays. But that's not set in stone. I know people, and I think I've actually, in some of my previous tiers, I've been upgraded on the weekends. But it tends to, for most people, it tends to happen on the weekdays. normally at the beginning of the week on Mondays. But the two elements that, for the most part, you need to keep in mind if you're going to look to get tiered up is you need to have the appropriate amount of units sold for your tier and be at that 80% ratio of uploaded designs. Once you're at that percent ratio and you have the sold amount, you will typically be upgraded. Your tier will be upgraded within the next week or so. In my experience, that's how it's happened for me. It was actually, for me, when I was at the tier, I was at tier 2000. The day that I seen that my account got over 2,000 items sold, and I was already at an 80% ratio, that day I got upgraded to tier 4,000. So it was pretty instantaneous for me. Again, this is for the most part, it's an automated process, especially in the lower tiers. As you get to a higher and higher tier, there possibly could be manual intervention where a person actually comes and looks at your account to see if you're going to be upgraded. But in the lower tiers, it is most definitely an automatic process. So that's how tiers work. Whenever you get your tiers upgraded, not only do the amount of designs that you can have live gets increased, but the amount of designs you can upload per day get increased. So you start at 2 designs per day, then you work your way through the tiers, and you can start to upload 5 designs a day, then 10 designs a day, then 20 or 30 designs a day, then 100 designs a day. Currently, it says I'm at 200 designs a day. Really, I'm at 400 designs a day. Right now, Amazon has put a limitation on everybody's account where they've lowered the amount that people can upload per day. Normally at a tier 4,000, you'd be able to upload 400 designs a day. So you can see that it starts to get to a pretty high number where if you're working at this your Merch by Amazon account as a single person, it becomes almost impossible for you to upload that many designs a day unless you're just making very, very repetitive designs. So, but I want to also talk a little bit about goal setting. So when you first start getting into Merch by Amazon, you make that first sell, it feels so good. You're blown out of the water. This is a success story for you. You've said, okay, I could do this. I'm making money now. And not only am I making money, I'm making money without doing almost anything. And you feel good, and you should feel good because it's a good thing that people actually want something that you're creating. Okay, but when you go into Merch by Amazon, you want to make sure that you have set realistic expectations. This platform is a very slow growth platform. For most people, and it's not 100% of the case, but for most people, if you don't have a built-in audience, like you're not a huge YouTuber, you don't got a huge Pinterest account, you don't got a huge Instagram account or very popular Facebook account or group or something like that, you're not going to be able to grow your Merch by Amazon account very fast at the start. Okay, if we look at my analytics here, and we go to my earnings, you could see that when I first started, on my very first month, I made $17, okay? And then the next month, which was Christmas, so I got lucky there, it was December, I made $84, and then I went back to $17, and then I actually went down to $5, and then $15, $19, and then you could see that I started to really get into merch. Okay, and you can see that I went from making $20 or less a month to making $60, then $160, and double that, and then kind of stayed steady. Then we went up a huge amount here, and you can see that my accounts had some up and downs, some lows and some highs here. But for the most part, it's been trending upwards, okay? There's a small point of time here where I actually lost access to my computer. It broke. And I wasn't able to upload a whole bunch of designs or keep my account at a good status. And I actually had I was still making sales without doing nothing. Even though I didn't have access to my account, I was still making sales, but I wasn't growing. But Merch by Amazon is a growth-based account, and it's an active growth-based account. It is passive income in the sense that you don't have to communicate with the customers or interact with the customers or actually create the platform or marketplace that you're going to be selling on. You just got to create a design essentially and put it onto Amazon, and it will sell if you design the listing correctly. So it's passive in that sense, but it's still active in the sense that you need to continuously be creating designs. The way that Merch by Amazon works is that you can have your design listed on the Amazon website for 90 days. After 90 days, if it hasn't sold, it will be removed. So if you have no designs that are constantly going up, then you're going to eventually run into a situation where all your designs will just eventually get removed because they're not making sales. So you just want to continuously keep adding more and more designs to your account and removing, once you've capped out the amount that you can actually upload, start removing designs that you know aren't selling and putting up fresh content, okay? Because the more content you have up there, the more chance that people can actually find your listing, find your product, and you can get a sell. It's a numbers game, essentially. The first element is having a good design. The second element is having a lot of designs for people to actually find. And the more designs you have up there, the higher likelihood that you're going to get sales, okay? So you want to make sure that you set goals that are reasonable. When you're at this first level tier 10 level, you want to make sure that your goals are within that tier level. So your goal essentially at tier 10 is to get bumped up to the highest tiers possible. You're aiming for tier 100 essentially at tier 10, because you want to be able to have them 100 designs up, and that first 100 designs is a pretty good point for you to really see some growth on your account. So what you're wanting to do essentially is create these very cheap designs, or not, the designs don't have to be cheap, but the listings have to be cheap, where people will, even though people are selling like shirts and stuff for like $17.99, you want to be selling your products for very close to the base cost, because your goal here isn't to make money. Your goal here is to get your account upgraded to a higher tier so that you can get more designs out there. And as your account gets tiered up to these higher levels, then you can start increasing the cost of your product and start worrying about how much royalty you're making. Okay, but when you first start here, your goal here is to build out your account, to have it grow into something that can really be scaled to a much higher level. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that when you are going into this enterprise here, that you always want to be setting goals. It's very important, because if you don't set goals, and realistic goals, not goals like I want to be a millionaire in a year, but like a realistic goal. If you just joined Merch by Amazon, then your goal should be something like, I want to make $50 in the first month of Merch by Amazon, or in the first year of Merch by Amazon, I want to sell 1,000 items. You know, these are very reasonable and achievable goals. And these are the types of goals that you want to set. The reason you want to set reasonable and achievable goals is there are going to be times where you're going to be discouraged. You're going to feel like your account's not growing fast enough. But each time that you have these feelings and these emotions come across you, you want to go back to your goals and see, where are you in your goal process? Because it's going to allow you to reset your mindset. If your mindset is to get to $50 a month with Merch by Amazon, and you're feeling discouraged, and then you go back and you look, okay, I actually did achieve this goal. Last month I actually did get $50 a month. Then you can set a new goal and say, hey, maybe this month I'm actually going to get to $75. And so now you have a new goal to reach, something that's going to reinvigorate your Merch by Amazon process, and keep you striving to grow and become better at this platform. And so it's very important that you want to set out these goals and do it early and do it often. Once you achieve something, don't just say that you're done, okay? You want to set a new goal, not a new goal that's so much higher than the next goal, but something that's reasonable, that's reachable, but that is greater than the goal that you had before, because this is going to allow you to keep that successful mindset, okay? So I hope that this has really helped you in understanding the tiers of Merch by Amazon and setting goals within your Merch by Amazon process. And I will see you guys on the other side.